Shalom, Sha'an, Bayan, Charlotte from the Lions of the Yashar camp. First and foremost, I'd like to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harakak Radash Mama. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity of the truth. Shalakia. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Get my screen back up, right? All right. This lesson is going into this article that I found. Basically, it's about what's going on around us, and about the collapse of the dollar, which is going to ultimately lead to the decline of the United States economy. The destruction of America from the inside out, the destruction of Babylon the Great. And this article talks about, it says dollar decline versus dollar collapse. All right. So when these other countries are denouncing the dollar, all right, that's the dollar decline, all right, and the collapse is a variation of things that what's caused by that is a variation of things dealing with the stock market and the trade market, which pretty much that's what the stock market is, and the article talks about the dollar decline versus the dollar collapse, and the things that are going on that's leading up to that. All right. It says why a dollar decline is inevitable, while a collapse is unimaginable. All right. It says the dollar declines when the dollar value is lower compared to the other currencies in the foreign exchange market. So it declines and decreases in value, all right? But when these other countries denounce the dollar, that's what also allows it to decrease in value, all right? It says, it means the dollar index falls. It also means the euro to dollar conversion is higher because euros get stronger and can buy more dollars when the U.S. currency weakens, all right? Because the euro is worth more than the dollar. It says, it could also threaten the yen carry trade because a weaker dollar often means a stronger yen. All right, a declining dollar can also mean a fall in the value of U.S. Treasury. This drives up Treasury yields and interest rates. All right, so that's where you hear the Feds talking about the interest rates and everything. Okay. Whether they're going to rise or fall, or they're going to leave them the same, So really, they control the value of the dollar, right, through the stock market. So that just lets you know that it's not backed by anything but an algorithm. Because if a dollar was a dollar worth a troy ounce of gold and it was backed by gold, you could trade that dollar and get a troy. It wouldn't matter. It would still be worth that because it has, what is it backed by? It's backed by gold. But there's nothing that's backing the dollar except for an algorithm and faith. It says Treasury notes yields are the main driver of mortgage rates. And we were just talking about how the housing rate is about to fall again. It says it can mean that the foreign central banks and sovereign wealth funds are holding fewer dollars to this lowers the demand for dollars. All right, so now and what's another way of lowering the demand for the dollar is when these countries want to use a currency that's backed by gold in the trade route. All right, that also lowers the demand for the dollars, because if these countries stop using the dollar, there's not going to be a high demand for the dollar. They're going to find some other form of currency to be the dominant currency in the SDRs or the IMF. All right. It's like it says a weaker dollar buys less foreign goods. This increases the price of the imports, contributing to inflation. All right, so and so you see the dollar weakening, and so goods are going to become more expensive. A loaf of bread going to be $20 because of the value of the dollar. So right now, victuals seem to be cheap. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. This is Second Ezra's. Um, yeah, what is this? All right, this is Second Ezra 16:21. It says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. Even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." All right, so when victuals become cheap like that, that's when the market is in a bear market. So they swing low at the prices. All right, to increase the demand for buying things, right? And to make it seem like the economy is booming, like things like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Walmart's everyday low prices. Victuals shall be shall become cheap in that day. However, it's still going to be destruction and famine and great confusion that comes upon them. But it says, so the American dollar has a lot to do with the trade route. All right, so So it says a weaker dollar buys less in foreign goods. This increases the price of imports, contributing to inflation. As the dollar weakens, investors in the benchmark 10-year Treasury and other bonds sell their dollar denominated holdings. Oil and other foreign contracts are denominated in dollars. A weaker dollar will drive up their prices because the exporting countries need to maintain their profit margin. The value of the dollar is one of the three factors that determine oil prices. All right, but one that's not cheap is the oil, the gas. Gas is steadily fluctuating, just like the market. All right, so the whole trade route, including oil, is denominated by the dollar. All right, it's all set up by the dollar. The dollar is the number one currency, so that these countries are using. So if the dollar collapses, right, it's not gonna only affect America, but it's gonna affect the whole global economy as a whole. All right, this is Revelation chapter 18 verse 8. It says, "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is Yahweh Hashem Yahushai who judgeth her." Talking about America, Babylon the Great. All right, it says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her," what, through the dollar, through the deception of the dollar, these other countries, because they're buying into the dollar and sharing the wealth of America. All right, it says, "shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning," because when America gets destroyed, it's going to affect the whole global economy, man, and other countries are going to suffer from it. So they're going to be wailing at the destruction of America. All right, shocking, my screen keeps flipping. All right, it says okay, let me go back up. It says, all right, this is the effects. It says oil and other foreign contracts are denominated in dollars. A weaker dollar will drive up their prices because the exporting countries need to maintain their profit margin. The value of the dollar is one of the three factors that determine oil prices. On the plus side, a weakening dollar helps U.S. exports. Their goods will seem cheaper to foreigners. It goes that victuals have become cheap again. This boosts the United States economic growth. That's them, and that's all an illusion. They're stimulating the economy by a bear market. The rate of the dollar goes down. So they lower prices on exports, but they raise prices on imports. It says this boosts the United States economic growth, but it's an illusion. It says which attracts foreign investors to the U.S. stocks. All right, so that just shows you that it's witchcraft because, all right, the amount of debt that America's in, why would you be attracted to the stocks of the United States? Because all you're doing is buying into their debt. It says, but if enough investors leave the dollar for the other currencies, it could cause a dollar collapse, and that's what's going to happen. A dollar collapse is going to happen when you already have the nation starting to turn away from the dollar now. All right. It says causes. It says on July 1st, 2014, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act required foreign banks and other financial institutes to disclose information regarding income and assets held by United States customers. Its goal is to root out wealthy U.S. taxpayers who are hiding money offshore on purpose. All right. It says, wait, hold on. It said it also wanted to stop foreign banks from using tax evasion as a profitable line of business. Many were worried foreign banks will drop U.S. customers to avoid compliance, thereby pushing them away from dollar-denominated assets. In October 16, 2013, China allowed British investors to pour $13.1 billion into the tightly restricted capital market. This made London the first trade hub for the yuan outside of Asia. All right, and the yuan is China's currency and is backed by gold, and they have it set up to where it can go crypto. All right. It says this is one way China is trying to encourage central banks to increase their holdings of the Chinese yuan. See, China with the yuan and Russia with the ruble, they're trying to trying to make their currencies the dominant currencies in the SDRs. Well, the IMF. All right. So then people will get SDR, special drawing rights, for their currencies to help stimulate their currency and boost their economy, moving the petrodollar out of the way. All right. It says China would like the yuan to replace the dollar as a world reserve currency. And that's what China is doing right now. China is already gone totally cashless, and if they become the dominant world currency, what's going to happen to the rest of the world? Going totally cashless, and that's going to implement the mark of the beast. All right. All right. It says since then China has been devaluing the yuan against the dollar. It is doing so because the world's third largest economy is worried its economy's growth is too slow. But the trouble is China would strengthen, not weaken, the dollar because the Chinese central bank buys dollars to keep it strong, and the yuan weak as a result. Slacking, yuan weak as a result. China has a large influence on the dollar. All right, so that's why they're investing in America's currency, devaluing their currency, and that's like a strategic economic move to destabilize the American economy. All right, so let me get this scripture real quick. Close it out. This is James chapter 5 verse 1. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupt, and your garments are moth-eaten." All right, ultimately talking about Esau, the so-called white man, but that's what's going to happen to America, man. America is about to bite the dust, and it's going to start with the collapse, man, with the collapse of the dollar and the market crash. All right, that's just it. It says Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. All right, and that's just it. America has heaped treasures, and so-called white man, which Esau, have heaped treasures for the last days, man. Yahweh Shimi Shai is about to destroy this place. With that being said, like I say, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harakakodash, my mom. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Archon that are pushing the truth, the sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.